What is up, guys?
We're back.
Another week. You missed us. Don't lie and say you didn't. We're back. Another great week in sports. As always, every week in sports is awesome.
A good week.
But this win was big.
Particularly eventful, yes, McClain.
With the NBA draft.
We had the NBA draft. Let's see if we had the Travelers Cup PGA. Not golf guys, but...
Yeah, but Jordan Spieth, let's just talk about this real quick. It's nothing big. The Travelers Championship doesn't matter, really. It's not a major. And, we're not golf guys. We want to talk about Masters because it's in Georgia. But Jordan Spieth, he was leading the whole weekend, and then at the end he got in they went to a one-hole playoff. And when he did that one-hole playoff, he got into the sand, into the bunker, and hit it. And it got up over the bunker, went all the way in, and went into the hole. And it was just awesome. You see him, he throws his club, goes up, chest bumps his caddy, and wins the cup.
That's just a couple of golf guys.
And also,
not golf guys, not golf.
In the bigger picture, it's his 10th tournament win, under 24, which matches Tiger Woods as the only guys that have done 10 or more under the age of 24, which is
Do you think he's the
really
Tiger
impressive.
Woods?
Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
We're not golf guys, so
But still, even if you weren't a golf guy, you still watch this.
I've never seen a golf crowd. I didn't know golf crowds got as lit as they were. Everybody within the stand was going crazy. It looked like a concert. I didn't know golf. I thought it was a very reserved sport. The fans were very quiet, very set back, sedated. Yeah, they do a little whispering golf claps, but man, it looked like Monster Jam.
Between that one guy and the other tournament saying my left stroke just went viral.
That was hype.
After at the U.S. Open last weekend, and then you see Jordan Spieth, chest bumping his
golf's the new bad boy
caddy. It's ready. It's a new era
for
golf.
Hype for golf.
Thank you, Kendrick Lamar and Jordan Spieth.
Otherwise, we've had
the draft. We've had the MLB is getting crazy. We'll talk about that later, but the Dodgers doing really well. Last night. MLS talk, we had Portland and Seattle, one of the best American sports rivalries, especially in soccer, and just went crazy, 2-2 final tie, but
we'll talk about
a lot of drama there.
Thanks to Mr. Clint Dempsey.
Yeah,
you're a big fan.
I'm definitely hating him today.
Yeah.
When he's wearing red, white, and blue, I'm liking him a lot, but when he's wearing, last night he was wearing white and blue, and was not a fan of numero deuce. So,
what does that mean, though? What does that win?
It means, it's not a win, but if you didn't watch the game, it was 2-1. It was 1-0, and then the Timbers scored twice in the last 3 minutes of the first half and took all momentum. Brad Evans got a red card in the penalty box that led up PK, and then just Asprilla just jumped. He got up there and headed in to make it 2-1 at halftime. And the rest of that game, Portland was man up because of the red card. And then... Portland, what was annoying was they weren't pressing. They just kind of laid back. They had the leads. They were fine with that. And then in the about 70th minute, Clint Dempsey gets subbed in. He was on the bench to start the game, but got subbed in. And at the 90th plus 4 minutes in stoppage time, a little floater from Ladero and Clint Dempsey with a header in right in front of the Timbers Army, who has been chanting against him, who has been booing him the whole time, says... he scores. And 2-2. And so this just means, right now the Timbers are now third in the West, and the Sounders are still eighth. They only got 1 point each. And it's just going to be interesting to see, last year, about this time is when the Sounders started picking up, they had a couple of losses, and then they started picking up and ended up winning the MLS Cup. And then 2 years ago, same thing happened to the Timbers. They started off kind of weak, but then towards the end, about this time, they started, just doing really well and winning games, and then ended up winning the big one, the MLS Cup. So we'll see. So with this tie, you can either move forward and do what both of these teams have been doing the rest of the past 2 years, and move up and just continue to win games and do well on the road, or they can take it as a loss, and which if Timbers it was a loss last night because they were winning the whole game, and for the Sounders it was a win, and it would just be detrimental for me as a Timbers fan and for the Timbers to just kind of look at this, dang, we took pretty much a loss at home. Yeah. In the wonderful Timberland, and Providence Park, and maybe there's no hope for them. But I think there will be. You saw a lot of good coming from Audie, Nogby, and Asprilla.
I think a big difference that kind of is a little bit different in this situation than maybe another number 2 losing to an 8 seed team is that it was Clint Dempsey doing it. He's an established, all-star, renowned soccer player around the world. And if it wasn't him, maybe it would have meant more for a team that was so high in the rankings to lose to a smaller team. But it's expected, I think, at this point. Like, Clint Dempsey scored. Everybody, understands that he's who he is, and it's not as detrimental to a team like the Portland Timbers now.
Yeah, that was actually his 9th goal against the Timbers. Most by a Sounders player against a certain team. That's his 9th against Timbers. This is his 8th year in the league. His 5th goal of the season. But you're right. With that, if it was anyone other than Dempsey or Morris or Ladero, it would be worse. But I think it's actually worse because of this Clint Dempsey guy that. As a Timbers fan, you just hate him. He's awesome for the U.S. He's he's second leading goal scorer in history. So when he's wearing, like I said, when he's wearing the red, white, and blue, I love it. When he's wearing the green and blue, not a big fan. Also, let's just talk about Atlanta United. We got the jerseys are in.
Big Atlanta guys.
Atlanta United, our second team, the hometown unite and conquer. And when they're in Atlanta, they do that. They unite and they conquer. In Atlanta on the road. Totally different story.
And I think that this is very telling of a young MLS team. Not even just new to the league, but young in general. I think a lot of their talent on their team and a lot of their, team members are kind of on the younger side as far as experience goes and as far as just age in general goes. And for a team that wins at home and not, much on the road, I think that's very evident. Mm-hmm. Atlanta in general, this is the first season in MLS. We've been to a game. It's pretty intense. It's pretty intense in the stadium.
Yeah.
The atmosphere is electric the entire game, and I think it's as big as a home field advantage as I've ever seen in soccer.
Oh, definitely. They only have one loss, and that was their first ever game against the New York Red Bulls, which at the beginning of the season was one of the best teams in the league. But then they just keep winning. A 4-0 against Chicago, who's one of the better teams this season. They keep winning at home, like we said. Houston. But then on the road, they definitely struggle.
I think that's just something a young team has to learn, how to win on the road, how to travel just in general, and how to perform at your peak after traveling. It's tough. I can't imagine it'd be simple traveling across the country every week and playing a different team and expecting to be at the same caliber as you are in your home in front of a bunch of people shouting and screaming for 3 hours supporting you. I think it's just a characteristic of a very young team that they're going to have to learn in general. But I think for what they are and the way they win at home when they do win at home, it's still impressive.
It's definitely impressive. But you just got to look at, last Wednesday night they traveled to D.C. and lost 2-1. They lost 2-0 on the road to Chicago. They lost 3-1 at Vancouver. These road losses, as long as they keep getting these wins, at home, I think they'll make playoffs. They're 6th right now in the East. Right. So right now, if the season ended right now, they would be playoff bound. But they've got to get some of these ones on the road. They've got a couple of good opportunities coming up. At Columbus, at Orlando. Kansas City is gonna be tough. And they got another match at DC. Another Eastern Conference game. But so that's Atlanta for you. They play on the 4th. I'll be there against San Jose next Tuesday. That'll be exciting.
Yeah,
but
we're Atlanta guys.
We'll see. We'll see what goes on. Also an NBA guy, if you didn't know. And the NBA draft was last Thursday night. Big things happened.
Big things happened. Not only just in the draft, but the NBA offseason, I've said it before, is honestly, to me, I know you're a soccer guy. I'm not a soccer guy. I'd rather watch Twitter during the NBA offseason than an MLS game, I think. For an MLS team I don't care about, it's just that exciting. NBA offseason is electric for the entire 2 or 3 months that it is. And we've seen it right off the bat. Like maybe a week and a half after the NBA Finals, things started shaking up. Just the biggest thing, I think, Jimmy Butler to the Timberwolves.
Oh, yeah.
Right away. Chicago
is
a team that was on the cusp, I think, of the season. They were middle of the pack in the Eastern Conference pretty much the entire time. Had some playoff hopes sometimes and then kind of fell out of it. But they kind of lost all hope, I guess, now after Jimmy Butler.
They lost Jimmy Butler.
But what does this mean for Minnesota. I think this means a lot. I think that this means that they're definitely an up-and-coming team in the league. I think this is a team that's kind of making their rounds, trying to accumulate the best talent that they can. And Jimmy Butler's young, but I think as far as talent goes, he's definitely an experienced player and a top 10, top 15 player in the league at this point. So this is a lot for Timberwolves, a team that has maybe pushed a little bit for their name this last season. They weren't terrible this last season. They had, their ebbs and flows. But,
they're also going through this new rebranding. We talked with the Hawks a few years ago with the logo change, the uniforms, the colors change. Minnesota's going through this big rebranding of the Timberwolves. And so to add a Jimmy Butler, to add a Lauri Markkanen from Arizona, a really good guy that, showed up in the tournament really well. To see that, kind of, you said, take form. You've already got Karl Anthony Towns there. Also, you got a lot of guys a lot of young guys.
Gonna be dangerous. I'm so excited for that combination.
Yeah.
Big Cat and Jimmy Butler. I think that's going to be really good. Although a lot of people talking about the trade-off between the Timberwolves and the Bulls for this one. They traded Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, and Kevin Pelton, I think, for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
It's a pretty hefty trade, but I think in the long run, I think this is going to work out for Timberwolves.
The Wolves definitely want that one.
I definitely think so, too. Other big draft news, or not just draft, just basketball shakeups in general. Let's see, right now we're...
Markelle Fultz,
first
round, but then second pick in the draft, as we all thought.
Lonzo Ball to the Lakers.
He is an NBA player.
I'm excited for that.
Some people are saying he's the new face of the Lakers.
I mean, they traded D'Angelo Russell to open up that spot for him to come in. I don't know who else it would be. I think this is going to be, and it sucks because the world likes to hate on LeVar Ball for talking up his son so much, but I think it's going to be his team. I think
he's going to have to back it up.
I think he will be, though. People lose the fact that in all the LeVar Ball talk, how good Lonzo Ball actually is. And he's a very talented basketball player, and regardless of the hype that he's gotten in general, I think, from the media, despite his dad, I think that he's still going to be a very, very good player. Third round, Jason Tatum, or third pick, Jason Tatum from Duke.
You're a big Duke guy.
Big Duke guy. Grayson Allen didn't declare for the draft.
He would have been first overall, though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
See, Luke Kennard went, though. Luke Kennard went a little bit later. I think he was 12th, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went 12th to the Pistons, which is going to be cool.
Short Pistons, yeah.
Malik Monk was another surprising one, went 11th.
Yeah.
I thought he would really go a lot higher than that.
I thought it was interesting that De'Aaron Fox went above him. Both guys from Kentucky, both of them were freshmen last year. Fox went 5th overall to the Kings. Today he actually signed, on Monday he actually signed with them. I thought Malik Monk was a much better player. After seeing UNC play these guys 2 or 3 times, I thought, and just seeing Kentucky throughout the season, I thought Malik Monk was a more established player. He plays, more experienced. I guess I think he's just a better player than Fox will, and we'll see. Fox, on the Kings, kind of a Kings team that's, I don't even know what's going on there. Yeah, they lost Biggie. They lost or Boogie. They lost. We all lost Biggie.
Yeah, we all lost Biggie. How about the Knicks though? They have a thing for all these foreign guys. Kristaps Porzingis, Latvia. And now Nitalinka from France. He's in the French league. He was in the French, whatever French basketball league over there. He was in their playoffs, the conference finals.
Yeah.
When he was being drafted. He had to leave at 2 a.m. to go play Game 5 in the finals over there, or the playoffs, something like that. But man, if I was a Knicks player, I'd hate Phil Jackson for a lot of reasons. But another one is drafting guys that you don't know how they're going to perform because you've never seen them before.
But we infamously about 2 years ago that Porzingis. Yeah, and you just saw this video of that kid at the draft just crying and hating the Knicks, and to
this guy who's nobody's ever seen before.
Yeah,
it'd be rough. It'd be very, very.
And now I guess we can say he's the best player of the Knicks.
Even over Carmelo? You're a big Carmelo guy, aren't you?
Nah, I'm not a big Carmelo guy.
I'm not a Carmelo guy either. Speaking of Carmelo.
He's also
in the news. We're just bouncing all over the place now. The Cavaliers are trying to.
LeBron, who a week ago said he did not like the super team thing, is trying to build a super team. Even though he's never been on a super team,
is now trying to build a super team
to beat his rival, though he's never had a rival.
Exactly.
So
we speak of the Cavaliers talking about trying to get Paul George, The Eastern Conference kind of rival of LeBron. Rival. They go head-to-head a lot.
Rivals don't matter.
And the Cavs always win, so it's just, Yeah. Paul George, first of all, has got to get out of Indiana. Paul George is a fantastic top-tier player in the league. He's going to get bogged down by the Pacers for the rest of his career if he doesn't trade or take a deal somewhere else. So I think that's essential for him. But the Cavs are trying to, collect a bunch of superstars. They're talking about, who were we just talking? Carmelo, too. They're trying to get Carmelo.
Paul George, trying to get rid of Kevin Love.
But that makes sense, though. Okay, so I'll speak unbiasedly here for a second. If you're a team and you're trying to build the best team possible, you have to sacrifice assets to gain assets. And out of all the big players to get a superstar like Paul George, to get someone like Carmelo Anthony with a big name, you have to get rid of somebody big too. That's just how it works. And we saw it with the Timberwolves too. They traded Zach LaVine, one of their best players, to get Jimmy Butler. So Kevin Love, I think, is definitely the most tradable character out of the whole squad there. It's tradable big character, tradable superstar to get another superstar. So Paul George, maybe going to the Cavs. Hopefully he doesn't. He's looking at some other places too, I think.
Miami was looking at him. Miami Heat.
They're looking at Miami. They're looking at what else was it? I was looking at something else too. No, Chris Paul was looking at some other places too. Chris Paul.
That's another big thing. Chris Paul and Blake Griffin.
NBA is wild.
Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. There's talk maybe Chris Paul stays, Blake Griffin stays.
We definitely knew they were splitting up. We definitely knew the Clippers were.
We didn't know they would both be dropped though. Neither they both opted out of their Clippers contract.
So where are they going to end up? So Chris Paul, looking at the Spurs, I think would be a good match for them. They lost Tony Parker's dealing with some injury.
Yeah.
They need somebody to fill that guard spot.
And Manu's, I think
he's getting old.
I think he's retired now.
You're right. He did retire.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That got overshadowed by everything the Spurs are going
Manu Ginobili.
So they need somebody. They need somebody to kind of step into that spot now. Chris Paul's a superstar. He's getting up there as far as age goes, and he's had a pretty lengthy career. But I think he could fit well into the whole Spurs.
The big question is Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin's been a guy who's been dealing with injury his whole Clippers career, his whole NBA career is either sponsoring Kia or being on the bench injured.
People are talking about him going to the Denver Nuggets. This is your daily reminder that the Denver Nuggets are still an NBA team.
They are.
People forget.
There's 30 teams, and one of them is the Denver Nuggets, who Carmelo played for, who Allen Iverson played for.
People forget they breed, and maybe Blake Griffin's about to play for.
Maybe.
People are talking about them. They're trying to shake things up a little bit too. They're the ones in talks with the Cavs, and
they were part of that three-way trade
that's going on.
It didn't happen.
Not yet, but eventually it's probably going to happen. The Denver Nuggets are kind of making a name for themselves this offseason as well.
So those are all the major headlines for NBA this past week or two.
We could talk 3 episodes about just NBA offseason.
But we're not going to.
Sadly. But it's wild. It's wild. If you don't have a Twitter app, I recommend you get one because Twitter during the NBA offseason is awesome. A different world. Yeah. It's a different world.
People talk about playoff hockey. I'd say NHL playoff hockey is comparable to NBA offseason.
I'd say regular season hockey. I'd put NHL playoff hockey over NBA offseason. NBA offseason definitely is better than NHL regular season. Fact. I mean, that's just.
I'm not saying it's the best playoffs and the best offseason.
Oh, for sure.
There you go.
Definitely. It's wild. I'm so excited.
Alrighty, so that's NBA, but it is actually baseball season, and
people forget.
If you didn't know, the Dodgers are doing well. I'll be the first to tell you the Dodgers are doing well. Mr. Cody Bellinger, 24 home runs so far this season, doing phenomenal. The Dodgers leading the NL West, which NL West I think is the best overall division in baseball. They got them doing well. Everyone except the Giants pretty much doing well out there. Yeah. Giants are one of the worst teams in baseball, surprisingly.
Yeah.
But Cody Bellinger and Clayton Kershaw just keep doing well and keep just dominating the.
I think it's essential at this point. Clayton Kershaw, one of the best pitchers
of all time.
If you're just looking at stats, probably one of the best players of all time.
Yeah.
Not in the conversation, I think, for specialization.
He doesn't lose.
Yeah, but until we saw the same thing with LeBron when he was back in Cleveland for the first time. People are never going to give him the credit he deserves until he wins a ring. And I think Clayton Kershaw, every year the Dodgers, it seems like it's their year. Every year they get close. Every year you think, the Dodgers are going to pull ahead and they're going to win one. Then we get into the postseason and it falls apart and the Dodgers never get where they need to go. And until they do,
well, last year was destiny for the Cubs.
It was, but
if the Cubs weren't around last year, I would have put it on.
It's happened time and again. It wasn't just last year. It's happened for years now. Clayton Kershaw's been a name for years now, and the fact that they've been a good team for a long time and they haven't been able to get where they needed to get as far as championships go, nobody's going to give the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw, the respect that they deserve until they win that. But I think this year, we might sound naive by saying it, but it may be different.
They've got the offense to back it up. They've consistently had the pitching, both Kershaw, and they've also got a bullpen. They've got great pitching. But now they've got.
Where did Puig go? Remember when Puig was a big thing? Well, he's nobody anymore. But now they've got this new guy.
Rookie, Cody Bellinger. I guess 24 home runs so far, and we're just mid-June, really, into June, and he is just doing and it's easy for him. It's not. Yeah. It's people. They're saying that him and Aaron Judge on the Yankees have the ability to beat Mark McGwire's rookie record, 49 home runs by a rookie, and it's just becoming so easy for them too.
He's running it right now. Another team that's been doing well for pretty much most season now. The Astros are still hot, 52-25. They're still at the top. There's nothing really else to say. Let's just put it out there. I would just talk to all you people out there directly right now. Just a quick reminder that I, Cole Ferguson, and my big brain and my sports mentality and my omniscient mind knew that this was going to happen. And just reaffirming it right now that the Dodgers and the Astros are going to face off in the World Series, and the Astros are going to win. You heard it right here, folks. I said it before, and I'll say it again. That's what's going to happen.
But the Mariners are just behind. Yeah, that's the team I played for, picked in the preseason preview, and they're doing well. They're still in fourth in the AL West, but both the AL West and the NL West are both the two best divisions in baseball right now. And Mariners actually won 2 out of 3 games against Houston this past weekend. Cool to see that. They had a 7 or 8 game win streak going on. And
how about the Diamondbacks too? The Diamondbacks are 48-28 right now. They're making gains.
The Dodgers, Diamondbacks, and Rockies are all above 45 games. They're above everybody else. They're the 3 best teams in the NL, and they're all in the same division, which sucks for us Braves fans. Right. Who the Braves keep doing well, but they're still 11 games back from the wild card spot right now, which is just embarrassing. But the Braves did do well. They had about a 6-game win streak. Yeah. And then it was broken on Saturday and Sunday by a really bad way. 7-0 loss to the Brewers, one of the worst teams in America. Actually, NL Central champions right now. Yeah. But Central's weird to look at.
Yeah, so the MLB's, we're not huge baseball guys, I feel. No. We like baseball. It gets way better in the postseason.
We're Americans.
It's America's favorite pastime. Yeah. But it's getting exciting. I've definitely been watching, ever since I made that prediction about the Dodgers and the Astros. 2 teams that I never really were huge fans of, I think. Not like I wasn't. I just never cheered for them and never gave them a peace of mind.
I have a Dodgers. Fun to watch. I have a Dodgers jersey.
Jackie Robinson fan. We got the biggest Dodgers fan in the world right here, then I guess.
Yeah, Jackie Robinson, the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Different. They're 2 very, very exciting teams to watch. I just think it's crazy how Sports Illustrated, 3 years ago called this, and now it's happening. It's just, it's wild.
It is.
George Springer, Jose Altuve, Dallas Keuchel. I will say though, one thing: Astros, they're gonna have to do something. They've moved 3 pitchers to their
DL.
The DL, and that's something they're gonna have to figure out, because that's something that kills teams in the postseason. Is
not having the bullpen and having the.
You've got players playing,
That's what happens to the Dodgers and the Nationals.
They put it all on Kershaw in the postseason because they don't trust their bullpen enough, and they don't have the role players enough to fill those spots. And then you've got Kershaw pitching 8 innings for 3 games in a row, and then he comes in and it just starts deteriorating because they don't have the backup players.
And that's what happens with the Nationals for the past 5 or 6 years. Exactly. They've been one of the best, if not the best NL team every year. It seems like they're
consistently. They're always
they're constantly getting 80 game, 90 game.
But in the postseason, we have.
But you've only got Steven Strasburg. You can't.
You've got high intensity games. You've got the way more frequent, and you're playing at such a level for those games that's so much.
Every game matters.
Exactly.
There's 162 games. You can take a few games off.
Exactly, and you can put role players in and take downtime during the regular season. But in the postseason, there's no time for that. So they put all their time on all the innings on their starters and their star pitchers and stuff like that. They don't have teams to back it up. So for Astros, they're gonna have to figure out something going on for all these pitchers going to the DL because they can't in the postseason. They can't put it all on Dallas Keuchel. They can't put it all on these pitchers that are gonna try to carry the team because they can't do that. The pitcher is just such an important position in baseball and one that requires so much. It's physically demanding, way more so than I think a lot of other positions in baseball. You can't pitch 8 innings for 4 games in a row in an MLB series. You can't do that. So they're gonna have to figure out something going on with that. Speaking of baseball, though,
College World Series starts tonight.
Yeah, Florida
and LSU. LSU is 6. This is their 7th time in the finals. They're 6-0 so far, and this is Florida's 3rd trip, and they're 0-2. Kind of heartbreaking the other day. I was kind of once Louisville got out, the ACC got out. I was pulling for TCU. A team that's been back-to-back years, and they lost last year to Coastal Carolina in the finals. But I was cheering on TCU just because I hate the SEC. But Florida had a great game on Saturday that knocked TCU out and all the SEC. So the SEC team's gonna get another championship. I guess I'm going for LSU in this one. One of my buddies is a big LSU guy, especially a big LSU baseball guy. So I'll go for them. Keep history alive. 7-0 sounds a lot better than 1-2, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we said it before. I'm not a huge baseball guy, and sure as hell I'm not a college baseball guy.
Yeah.
So I don't really know a whole lot about this, but I know it's a big deal. And I think, I don't know, just college sports in general, I think are just, especially college championships, so high intensity. And I think.
Oh yeah, but this is the best 2 out of 3 series. So we'll have Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. If needed for Wednesday night, but
did not know that. Did not know that it was a 3-game series.
Yeah,
did not know that. That's weird.
You learn something every day.
Just shows how little I know about college baseball on the sports podcast. Sportscast.
Well, guys, that's gonna be our show this week. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram. Still don't have a Snapchat.
SoundCloud.
Follow us on SoundCloud. Be sure to share and comment stuff. Leave reviews on Instagram or on iTunes. But yeah, this has been McClain, Baxley,
Cole Ferguson,
and
the one, the only, the best
Unsportsmanlike Conduct. And have a great week.